Before we start off today's video, if you guys would like to join the Discord server, link will be in the description below and it will also be in that pinned comment. If it's been more than 7 days, please use the latest videos, that's the one where the links will be working. And also I'd love to have you on the channel as well, so make sure to subscribe with that bell on so that you don't miss any of the videos or any of the shorts or any of the YouTube community sections, and also like the videos as well. But anyway, let's get right into today's video. What's up guys, welcome back to another video. A few things before we start. So firstly, thank you for 300 subscribers, it means a lot to me. Next goal is 400, so hopefully we can get there. Right now as we speak it's actually 303, so you know we're already there. And secondly, we're just doing a normal, simple, basic car and a basic review. Nothing special, no Michael Bay explosions or Transformers in the background or Vin Diesel punching a rock or whatever, none of that. Just nice and simple. So here we have the Ford Ka+. So the Ka sits below the Fiesta, but the first generation was in fact based on a Fiesta. The second generation was based on a Fiat 500, and then this one is actually based on a Fiesta again. However, I believe the normal Ka without the plus is a saloon version, and then the plus is this hatchback version. But anyway, it's just a small city car and we're going to see how it fares. So let's get right into the video, and well, it's time for some simpleness, if that's the word I'm looking for. Probably isn't. Okay, so when it comes to the exterior of the Ka+, the front, well, it's kind of like other Fords, you know, with that kind of Aston Martin inspired grille, and then just a small, not cute, but you know, nice looking front end as well. I mean, the grille does look good, even if it is kind of a copycat, and then the placements of everything, the light designs, they're alright as well. I mean, it's not an ugly front to say the least anyway. And the facelift, well, it kind of made it look like a Vignale. Well, this one does, but there is no Vignale trim. This grille anyway kind of reminds me of one of those. So that's been changed, and I think it looks like the... Is it? No, the grille hasn't been changed in shape. However, you can now see silver strips that come below the fog lights and all that, and the bottom bit of the grille has also been changed rather than the top one. And the lights do have LEDs in them. This obviously is not a basic trim, you can tell by the fact it's got LEDs and alloys and all that. So I don't know what the basic one looks like, but it is upgraded for this facelift. Now the side profile, it's, I mean, a small city car isn't supposed to be a looker. I mean, that's not what they're for. They're, you know, small little cars to go around the city. And this, frankly, it looks alright for what it is. I mean, the overall shape is, it's an overall nice design for what it is. I mean, there's no ugly shapes here and there. You know, there's a line that goes across throughout the door handles and all that, and then it's just all of that really. One thing I will say is the wheels do look a tad small now that I'm looking at it, but no matter the case, it's not an ugly car. Now the rear, there actually wasn't much of a change between the two, but this is the pre-facelift, and it's, again, it's simple but alright. I mean, it's not ugly, definitely not ugly at all. I mean, the lights are nice shape, and then the actual like boot lining and the bumper shapes, you know, they're reasonably designed as well. So it's not a wow factor, but it's not an it'll get away from it factor. And then the facelift, not much. Indicator had a different shape slightly, and then like the facelifted front, you got a design in the bumper, except it's not a silver strip here. But you know, pretty much the same look overall really. So when it comes to the interior of this car, well, it does look like a Ford, to say the least. So everything looks extremely well laid out. So you obviously got the infotainment screen, or I wouldn't call it that, but a screen up there, and it's a nice high view, and it's put into the dashboard so it doesn't look stuck on. Not only does it not look cheap, but you can also see it in your eye line properly. You don't have to look down for it. And then you've got buttons which are well placed as well, and the climate controls. I noticed that the center console isn't that low, is, it's not separating you from the passenger, but it is considerably higher, and therefore the controls are raised up a bit, which means that they're not so far low down. So that's a good thing. Obviously, being a budget car, if you will, obviously you're not going to expect Rolls Royce interior, but there are hard plastics in some places and some in other places. And if you're wondering what that little circle is just above the steering wheel, that is the mirror controls, which have been on Fords for I think quite a bit now. And then the facelift, well, not much changed, but you obviously got a bigger infotainment screen, which on this does look a bit stuck on, I will be honest, from here anyway, from this angle. But it's a nice bigger shape and it's still at a nice height. And then you obviously got your climate controls, which are similar, and then the buttons below the infotainment screen, they're slightly different as well. And then the overall design is pretty much, give or take, the same really. Right, when it comes to the performance, so a bit to say on this. So the first engine was a 1.2 litre inline. Now you can see 4/3, and there's a reason for this. The pre-facelift got a 4-cylinder, whereas the facelift got a 3-cylinder, and that's with this 1.2 litre engine, and there's 2 variants of that. So anyway, you can either get 4 or 3 cylinders depending on which version you get. So both produce 69 horsepower, haha, funny number. But the 4-cylinder produces 77 pound-feet of torque, however the 3-cylinder does produce more at 85. Drivetrain, it is front-wheel drive of course, and it is very light at just over a ton, it's not much at all. And gearbox is only a 5-speed manual, so unfortunately no automatic for this engine option. 0 to 60 for the 4-cylinder was 14.8 seconds, which is rather slow to be honest with you. However, for the 3-cylinder it had been reduced to 14.1 seconds. Now this engine is perfect around town, if you need to put your foot down around town, nothing wrong with that. However, it will struggle on a motorway or higher speeds. Not saying that you will do that, but it will. Top speed for the 4-cylinder was 99 miles an hour. However, it had been upped to 102 with the 3-cylinder, so great. And then the more powerful option, so same engine, same number of cylinders, 4 and 3. However, we now have 83 horsepower and 83 pound-feet of torque for the 4 and 85 for the 3. Front wheel drive, again, weight the same, gearbox the same. Ah! That actually hurt. Anyway, excusing my idiociness, that's not even a word anyway. 0 to 60 has been reduced to 13 seconds, so it is a bit quicker. And top speed does remain the same at 105 miles an hour. Now, again, this engine, despite being more powerful, it will struggle somewhat on the motorway. And again, there's no automatic option, which is a shame, considering that cars like the Kia Picanto and its brother, the Hyundai i10, and the Igo and all its siblings, all that are in the same class of this car, have an automatic option, or had one, depending on which version you get anyway. So there is one for there, but there isn't for this. And yes, I know it is a car where not much money is going to be put into it compared to say the Focus or the Fiesta, which is based, but still an automatic would be nice. And then for the facelift only, you also got a diesel option. So this had a 1.5 litre inline 4-cylinder diesel with a turbo. So 93 horsepower and 159 pound-feet of torque, so a big whopper because it's diesel. It is front-wheel drive as usual. Unfortunately, I cannot find the weight of the diesel variant. I presume it wouldn't weigh much more or much less than the petrol variants. So gearbox is again 5-speed manual. However, because we got more power and more torque for that matter, 0 to 60 has been dropped to 11 seconds flat, and top speed is 111 miles an hour. So that is a lot faster, but still no automatic option, which is, it's a shame, really. I mean, even if it was just one of the variants, it would be nice at least. So when it comes to the practicality of the KA, the boot was 270 litres big. Now by city car standards, that is pretty huge and pretty practical as well. And although the actual middle bit looks wide, it does become low at the bottom, the opening of the boot. So you can put it in there and then place it in, just don't do it at the bottom, because it does look a bit slimmer. So even though this boot seems small, in general it is actually big for its class, so that's obviously a good point to make. And rear seats as well, again like the boot, legroom was actually fine, and headroom was also fine. Considering how small this car is and the fact that it's a city car, if you are tall, then or you just got long legs, then you could be comfortable enough in the back of this car. Not that this car is designed to carry over 6-footers all the time, but if you were one, you'd be fine for some amount of time. It was a very practical car. You got to commend Ford for that. So when it comes to the handling and comfort, this is something you also have to commend Ford for. So they are known for making cars that are fun to drive, and the K8 is no exception. Firstly because it's a European Ford, and secondly because it's based on a already made Fiesta, which is already a fun car to drive. So obviously steering is perfectly weighted and there is plenty of feedback, and then suspension also. So body roll was also acceptable, and also it could handle the weight through the corners, not that there is much weight to begin with, and obviously suspension would give enough feedback as well. It could soak up the biggest of bumps reasonably well as well, whether it be potholes, cracks, bumps, humps, you name it. It's good on those as well. Nearly lost my words. Is there anything else worth noting? Well, if you would like one of these, I don't know, black bumper cladding jacked up cars, then I present to you the Ford Ka Plus Active, which is this. Yeah, it's kind of like how you got the Volvo V40 cross country and the Duchess and the Stepway. Crikey, it's the Rosas. Anyway, so if you want one of those, there you go. So what is the verdict? So the exterior is an alright design for what it is, and the interior is also decent as well. Now obviously this car itself is obviously based on a Fiesta which is already made, so obviously it's not built from the ground up, so obviously they're not going to spend a whole hunk trying to give it the best design possible. However, it is alright for what it is. Rear leg and rear headroom was also really good for this class of car, so was the boot, and it had good handling and comfort being a Ford. However, the automatic option, well, I say that, there is none, which is a shame. I know it's not built from the ground up, but still, one would be nice. And then petrol engines can be gutless if you go on higher speeded roads. So if you're on a motorway, it will struggle, especially the 69.5 on the number horsepower one. That's gonna be a bit difficult. Like I said, I'm not saying you will do that, but if you did, it will be a bit of a pain. But anyway, that does conclude my review of the simple Ford Ka Plus hatchback. Now, if you want me to review a car, you can let me know in the comments below, and even on the Discord server, because there is a section just for that. And please don't say you want a car and then leave. Please don't do that. I want members to grow, please. But anyway, I will see you guys in next week's video, and yeah, make sure to follow my Instagrams, which are pretty much the next clip, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.